Hey golfers, Jack Spencer here, Practical Golf for All. In my first video I touched on shoulder turn and weight transfer very lightly, so I wanted to get into that a little bit more in this one because it's so vitally important to your swing. And I'll say this, if you're a stack and tilt person, don't watch this video because nothing that I'm going to say is going to pertain to that. So the weight shift is something that seems to be real complicated for all of us golfers, and honestly I don't understand why, but it is. And if I had the solution to it, I wouldn't be making these videos in my man cave. If I gave you a baseball and said, throw me this baseball, and you're right-handed, you would, put your pressure on your right leg, step, transfer it to your front leg, throw, release, once your weight was on your front foot. If same way with batting, you're up here, you're ready, you got your weight on your right side. If you're a right-handed batter, step, hit it. Tennis, overhand, or forehand, weight back on your right, transfer, do that. Topspin forehand. Simple, you don't think about it. But yet, in golf, we seem like we need to think about it, and because we think about it, we don't do it. So, what I'm trying to get here is that consistently compressing the ball to the best of your ability. Notice I didn't say hit it 20 yards longer, because I don't care about that. What I'd like to do is to have you get to the point where, 8 out of 10 balls you're compressing to the best of your ability. Say, I don't care if you hit your 7 iron 190 yards or if you hit it 125 yards. If you hit it 125 and 8 times out of 10, you can hit that 7 iron between 120 and 130 yards, with most of those falling in the mid-range of that. That you can play golf like that. One thing you can't play golf is, let's say, well, I hit my 7 iron 150 yards. Well, yeah, you did maybe one time out of 10 or 15 or something like that, because you're overswinging. The rest of them are, tops and skulls and chunks and pools and whatever. That you can't play golf like that, not the way you probably would like to play. You need to have nice balance, control, weight transfer, and compression. And if you get all those things together in a pretty good shape, then you're going to hit your ball as far as you're able to hit it. And again, distance, you have 13 clubs in your bag, in your putter, probably. That's why you have different clubs. So keep in mind too, what I'm asking you is to try to find your swing. If you look on tour, we'd all like to have a swing like Adam Scott. It's a thing of beauty, versus like a lash, like a John Rahm or a Tony Finau. And you might look at those swings and you think, man, they have nothing in common. Well, they do. They have the most important thing in common for those people, and that is that they repeat them time after time after time in all types of conditions and pressure. It's a completely repeatable swing. And once you have a completely repeatable swing, you will play your best golf, whatever that may be. The other thing too, with some of these positions, that if you happen to be somebody takes it outside and drops, and then comes back over it, or takes it inside and comes back over it, and the face is square. And for a right-handed golfer, it starts down the left side, maybe in the left rough, peels back, fades, slices a little bit to the center. You do it time after time after time after time, and you're consistently signing for this, the same grouping in your scores. That's fine. That's your swing. Use it. Don't worry about anything else. You've already achieved what I'm trying to express that we all should try to achieve. So, with the weight transfer, one of the things that I think was in my opinion, one of the worst things that ever came out in golf was this restricted lower body turn, and try to create tension between your lower and upper body for more power and distance. And if I turn and I restrict, that's as far back as I can get the club, and it feels terrible. I mean, my knee did bend a little bit, but that's it. if I just let myself turn so that I get a nice full shoulder turn, it's like this, okay? So I don't care if this knee flexes too much. I don't care about pressure points in my feet. I don't care about any of that. I don't care if my hips are turning too much according to some people or too little according to others. None of that. You just let yourself turn so that you can get a full turn. It's just simple. It's just, there, that's a full turn. You know, I don't need to do John Daly, but I don't need to do this either and feel like I'm all tense. You see these things online, all these gurus about where in your feet you should feel pressure points and you know, elbow positions and all that kind of thing. Well, I would say that if you really wanted to do a checkpoint on your backswing, you could put a little towel underneath your left armpit, and you don't, you know, if you want to get in a pretty good position, you don't want that towel to drop out of it. The most important thing to me is if you want to compress the ball to the best of your ability, is not a restricted lower body, is not tension all through your body, you know, fighting it like mad. If you want to make your best strike, you get here, you initiate it with your legs. Just doing that. That's all I did. Boom, like that. When I do that, this angle gets a little bit sharper, a little more lag in my club head. The club drops. It's going to come in probably from the inside. My weight's starting to shift. And whether this leg posts up real quickly or whether it posts up right, it starts to post at impact, where the pressure point is in my left foot versus my right foot, I don't care. And you shouldn't either. You want to get it back, start with your lower body like that, and then swing on through. That's going to transfer your weight, and it's going to drop the club into the coveted slot much more consistently and much more powerfully. And I don't care if you have more of an upright backswing. Try not to hit my weight set here. Let's see, okay. Like this, lower body, still slots it. Flat backswing, like this, lower body, still slots it. And then you can swat it. On the free, mine's kind of neutral. My left arm kind of goes through my shoulders. You know, it's like that. Lower body. And I think if you concentrate on making sure that you get a little bit of a weight transfer on your right side on your backswing, which you will do normally if you allow yourself to turn. You don't even have to think about it. But more importantly, initiating your downswing with your legs and not we're going bigger muscles versus smaller muscles. I forgot to mention in my putting video that, you know, in today's world, you want to try to use your shoulders, not your arms and wrists. You know, we talked about pitching and chipping. Use the muscles in your legs to control it a little bit. Bigger muscles versus your arms and shoulders. Well, when you're putting, arms and shoulders, bigger muscles versus your wrists, or your shoulders, bigger muscles versus your wrists and arms. And the same way here, bigger muscles. If you just think bigger muscles, most of the time, you're probably going to be in pretty good shape, you know? So here, bigger muscles, my legs, boom, hit it. And what that should do for you is give you a more consistent strike, which is what we're all looking for. I would recommend not doing, you know, yardages or anything like that, or a launch monitor, until you're making these consistent strikes. Then measure the distance of how far you hit an individual club, because you know you're going to be hitting it about that distance. And if you focus on you know, if you start out saying, well, you know, I'm hitting my 7-iron 150 yards and I want to hit it 175. If that's your focus to begin with, you're probably going to fail, because you're going to overswing. You're going to ruin some of your natural tendencies and techniques, and it's not going to be repeatable whatsoever. I mean, this is a tough subject. Like I said, if I knew how to solve weight shift for golfers, I'd be a very, very rich man. But what I will tell you is, if you free your mind of the clutter that you can find out there on YouTube and everywhere else about how to shift weight. I mean, you know how to shift your weight. You just have to allow yourself to do it. And it takes some practice, but you know, it's just, if this, like I said, if this left heel comes up off the ground, so be it. It does, you know? I mean, we're not 23 years old, at least I'm not. Maybe I need that, you know? Maybe I need a little more hip turn to get a full shoulder turn. It does me no good to resist, because it just creates chaos from the get-go. And once you do that from the beginning, boy, you got problems trying to correct it. So, you know, I would appreciate any questions or comments, please, at any time. But I don't want to make this seem too simple, because it certainly is not. But I do want to emphasize that if you use your normal athleticism that we all have at least a little bit of. We've all thrown the ball. We've all gone bowling, back, forward. We've all maybe hit a tennis ball, you know, right side, left side for a right-handed player, for a topspin overhand. You know, it's, and we did it without thinking. In golf, we think we need to, you know, think through everything, but allow yourself to turn. When you turn like that, initiate it with your legs. I mean, Jack Nicklaus had a pretty decent career when he had a very upright swing, and he had a pretty significant angle of attack, you know? I mean, he wasn't like out here and then dropped it down into here, you know? He was on plane, but pretty much on plane both ways. So think about that, and I really hope that despite the general lack of specific information in this video, that the thought process gets through, where the less you think about it and the more you allow yourself to do what comes naturally, probably the quicker you're going to pick this up. So, hope you liked it. Let me know. Appreciate it.